Good evening, everybody, or good afternoon. It's John for Father's Rights and my anti-human trafficking YouTube channel. It's 1:56 p.m., March 7, 2025. This is a journal for my daughter. I gotta get a haircut and shave, I know. But it's cold outside, so you don't want to cut your hair. Now, back to my daughter. I just want to start off is that I love you very much, and hopefully, if you get to watch these videos sooner or later, you can have an understanding of why things are the way they are, and why others in your family will refer to me as insane, because I actually tried to prevent insanity of others from affecting you. And I'm just going to give you a rundown of all the stuff that I noticed, including abuse to you that you probably don't remember. But there's probably other abuse that you do remember, burdened on you by your mother's family. And this is the reason why things are the way they are now, because when they got uncovered, they had to create a lie in order to keep you in their company. They had to make Daddy look like the bad guy. So we're going to begin from the beginning, and this is the God's honest truth, because you see, Daddy doesn't lie when he swears on the Bible. He doesn't lie. That's somebody else did that. We already know. We have proof of that, and I could even show you that. It's all garbage what they're filling your head with. They're garbage. They're not very nice people. They're not loving. They're not caring. Because if they were as loving as caring as they state, a lot of those children wouldn't have the problems they have today. Let's begin. The first odd behavior, Gia, I noticed towards you was the day that you were born. Because I was there when you were born. Now, from what I understand talking to people, bipolar narcissist, that's hereditary. And I know where it was sourced from. From the lunatic you called Grandma. Now, the day that you were born, Gia, I was in the room. None of the blood, you know what Daddy's been and what Daddy's done. None of that blood or anything had anything effect on me. The only thing that had effect on me was you and making sure you were okay. The time you were born, when you came out of the womb, they placed you on Mommy's chest. The first reaction between you and your mother was very negative. In her own words was, "Ill, get her off me, clean her up, she's filthy." So the nurses pulled you off of her and cleaned you up a little bit, put you in the towel, then turned around to Grandma and said, "Do you want to hold your grandchild?" "No, no, no." So guess who actually ended up holding you first and welcoming you into this world? Who's the first person you think you saw? You saw me. And when I was talking to you, I said, "Hey, I've been waiting for you. Welcome into the world." And I tickled your chin. And the nurse was looking over my shoulder, and you did your first smile. And the nurse was laughing. She goes, "Ooh, she loves her daddy." That's because, gee, I really do love you. I still love you. Though people convolute it and make things complicated by putting false charges on me. If I didn't watch what I was doing or how I presented myself to you and vice versa, I'd end up in jail because Mommy was throwing a whole bunch of charges on me. She was abusing me and you. So what happened after that, that was the first incident. In about your first 7 months on this earth, I used to work a lot of hours. I was working 12 to 16 hours. And I just barely managed to get enough rest and go back to work because I was doing it for you. I wanted you to have the best of everything. Mommy's family had no money. Mommy had no money to buy you anything. I painted your room. They bought all the furniture in your room. Nobody even knew I had the money because I was afraid to tell them because they'd spend it on something else. It was for you, not for them. So I shut my mouth, and when I knew you needed something, I went out there and bought it. So, let's carry on. When you were about 6, 7 months old, I was awoken 5 o'clock in the morning by Mommy when she was going to feed you. And when I looked at you, Mommy was panicking. You looked like you had a stroke and you were paralyzed on one side. So of course, Mommy got scared and nervous and was blubbering away and not really contributing anything to your well-being. So I took you to the hospital. When Mommy went in the room, she didn't want me in there. I found out why. Because I know how to look up records. What happened was that you had what was called nanny arm. The only way, the reason why they call it nanny arm is that the way children get it is somebody basically yanks the child's arm so hard that your arm came out of your socket and dislocated your elbow. So what I'm worried about you pacing back and forth in the emergency room. Nobody's telling me nothing. And they have your mother behind closed doors asking, how did this happen to her? Because that's child abuse. Somebody injured you and basically crippled you. And if the doctor didn't see you, God knows what would have happened to you. So now, Mommy comes out and just goes, oh, it's just natty arm, it's no big thing, let's go home. So she just totally doesn't want to talk about it. So right away I started to get suspicious. So all these years I just forgot about it, and then I remembered, somebody told me, John, you remember when your daughter got nanny arm? The way they told me, it's not a traditional way for most people, but for me it is. Well, what I found out is that there was either 3 people. One of them did it to you. And the 3 people were either Grandma, Marie Castellano, or your mother. Okay? Now, if it wasn't your mother damn well knew who did that to you, and they still let that person around you after they hurt you. If I would have found out exactly what was going on, the reason why she didn't tell me, my foot would have been up somebody's ass really hard for doing that to you. It wouldn't have ended well. Somebody would have went to jail along with me. I could tell you that much. So she hid that from me. So that's your second time you got abused from your mother and your mother's family. And you weren't even 7 months old. Now we're going into the school days when you start going to school. First of all, if you're having problems at school, your mother, claiming that she's in charge of everything, never bothered to find out why you didn't want to go to school. When you stopped going to school from the 4th grade, you progressed from 4 days, then you went up to 8 days, then you went up to 11 days, and then you were up to 17 days, grade by grade, starting from the 3rd grade. So the teacher was talking to Mommy, saying, hey, how come G is out of school so much? There's obviously a problem here. If your daughter doesn't go to school for 3 more days, we're going to have to call CPS. So when I went to pick you up on the 17th day, the teacher came to me and said, hey, look, Mr. Russo, we tried talking to Gia's mother, but she's not listening to us. And this has nothing to do with Grandma dying. That's all nonsense. Your mother has been doing this to you for years. At least a half a decade. She didn't care about I don't know. You want to go to this school, this private school, and spend so much money to go, and then she doesn't send you. Doesn't really make any sense to me, or anybody else for that fact. At least that's normal. And then I remembered you told me that this boy was harassing you and stabbed another child with a compass. Remember you told me that? And you finally said nobody's listening to me, and I asked you if you told the teacher. Did you tell mommy? And you told me, yeah, the teachers talk to mommy, and all they do is laugh and giggle at each other and socialize, and they still don't take care of the problem. The kid keeps assaulting you and your friends. So I taught you to defend yourself, and they said you're not going to get in trouble for defending yourself no matter what the teacher tells me, because you told the teacher and she did nothing. So when that boy Max, you remember, help me, remember when you roughed him up a little bit and he was taken by surprise and you beat his ass? And then you told me the teacher made you apologize to Max, but for some reason the teacher didn't think it was okay for Max to apologize to you for slapping you and punching you and kicking you days on end. And what happened after I helped you? Max didn't bother you anymore. So your mother again was neglecting you, and that's why you didn't want to go to school, and I'm the one who went and fixed it. But for some reason, your mother got envious that me and you have a connection that's freaky links, and she doesn't have this connection to you. Mommy even gets mad about Bailey used to always love to play with me and sleep with me and stay with me, even though Mommy thinks because she fed Bailey that Bailey should somehow worship her. I don't get it. You understand, if you can't bond with people or animals, you can't just demand their love because you do something for them, some small little insignificant thing that anybody else could do. There's also much more to that. Unfortunately, in Mommy's mental state, she doesn't realize that. She treats you like an old purse. Sure, you were fine when you were in style, but now that you're out of style and you're old, they get rid of you. Now you can also remember another time she neglected you is when I was working that dangerous job. And it took me about 3 days to realize that was having a negative impact on you. But the person that was in the house with you every day didn't notice. With you hours and hours and hours and hours a day, compared to my few hours when I came home and I seen you sitting near the window, scratching your wrist all the way up to your elbow. Why was I the only one out of a pack of loving, caring females? The only one that knew you were under stress was me? And what happened? I asked you, what's the matter, Gia? You're acting not like yourself. And then you told me, Dad, every time you go to work, I'm worried that somebody's going to kill you. I sat there and I thought about it and I said, you know what? I worry about that too, that somebody's going to kill me. That's why every day I used to tell you, I have to tell you I love you every day because I might not get to tell you tomorrow. And remember what I said, no matter whatever happens to me, whether I'm dead or alive, if you need help, all you have to do is say, Dad, come help me. And no matter where I am, I'm coming. I'm coming to help you, even if I have to break some rules and be punished for it. I still will come and help you. I'll do it on heaven and I'll do it on earth. I'll break some rules if I think I have to help you. I'll go to jail. Okay? So there you have it on that. Now, another way you were abused is that Mommy had some cousins who had some children, and they used to come over the house all the time and play with you and everything. They were nice kids. Well, what happened to one of the girls is that she was, I might as well be blunt because you'll probably be watching this when you're old enough to understand, she was raped. Now, this is a relative of yours, Gia. I'm pretty sure if one of your cousins got raped, you'd be concerned too. And you, even at your young age now, you would say, call the police. Because you know that's what you're supposed to do. Remember I taught you, always help the little guys as much as you can in case there's danger, to get them out of there, as many as you can. But always remember, preserve yourself as well. Go as far as you can and then get out of there. Well, I think if you knew that, say, one of your friends got raped by an older man, you're going to pretty much be upset if none of the adults in the place didn't help your friend, wouldn't you? Well, that's what happened to Daddy when he found out about that. And the same people who allowed that to happen, including your mother, your grandmother, dear Aunt Fanny, who actually married the girl off at 15 to a 29-year-old man. Oh, I'm sorry, to a 31-year-old man. That's a crime, Gia. That's a really horrible crime. So, these people being around you after they've done that, your mother letting them around you, that's child neglect and child endangerment. Again, you're neglected and abused. And then what happened the first school year you weren't here? 39 days not going to school? Then one of the children are picking on you, Gabrielle's scratching you, and you have to send an email to your mother because she won't listen to you? That Gabby was scratching you? I have that email. I know exactly what's going on. Then after CPS comes, after the school calls CPS, and we find out about the girl that got raped, your mother says we're harassing her when the school is concerned about, 1, you're not attending school, and 2, a child in the family's care was raped. That's not them being harassed. That's them being held accountable. You, as an adult, if you know a child's been raped by another adult and you don't call the police, you've committed a crime, a very grievous crime. And that's why I don't trust anything from your mother's family. Okay? That's another one. This is why I told Mommy to get out of the house, because the behavior of her and her family was dangerous to you. And she knew when I told her to get out of the house, I was serious because I didn't want you to get hurt. So what did she do? She made up a lie that hurt me and you. More abuse. When you tell a child, your father's bad, your father's insane, don't go near your father doesn't love you, you don't love me if you love your father. That's more abuse, Gia. I don't want you growing up to be like them, because you're going to end up like them. Like the leader of the gang there, Grandma. Remember Grandma used to shove you in the corner and not speak to you? That's because Grandma has no empathy to any other human being except her own reflection. And Fanny? Ask Aunt Fanny, where's Mercedes? Ask her. Ask Mommy what happened to Jocelyn. That she says Jocelyn died of a brain aneurysm. The brain aneurysm was caused because she wasn't getting her dialysis adequately. They were skipping out on appointments, and once you lose that appointment, you got to make it some other time. By then, your body's going to react to not going to dialysis in a very negative way. And when you have a Wilms tumor, it becomes easier if you miss dialysis to get a brain aneurysm. And that's what happened to your Aunt Jocelyn. And your Aunt Jocelyn told me the whole story of why she didn't want to live anymore. But you won't hear that from Mommy, because you see, Mommy has a problem. Mommy was abused by Grandma the same way that Grandma abused you. No love, no attention, cold, treated like dirt. Told if she didn't give Grandma what she wanted, she had no use for her. Mommy was disowned by her piss poor mother because Mommy put her in a home so she'd have to be able to take care of you correctly. But no, Grandma wouldn't accept that. Grandma snapping her fingers. I want. If you continue to follow that path, Gia, I'm not going to recognize you anymore as the Gia I once knew. You're going to turn into something else that nobody likes. And you're going to end up just like Grandma, dying in the Section 8 apartment. Nobody comes to your funeral. You didn't even go to your grandmother's funeral. You didn't weep one tear because there was no bond between you and Grandma, because Grandma doesn't have the ability to bond with other people, because she had a mental illness, in which I think your mother's also prevalent too and showing signs. And it was exacerbated by Grandma treating Mommy like dirt. And I got to the point where Grandma would just bark orders to Mommy that I want this, I want that, and Mommy used to come in and take from us to give to Grandma, a person who didn't want to do any work. They're abusing us both. But the crux of it all, the end all be all, is when they started neglecting you and doing bad things to you. That's what ended this home as we know it. And she chose, your mother chose, to worship her mother, and she forgot about us. And on that, I hope the best for you, child. When you get old enough to see this video, you will understand. And on that, I'm out of here.